bodies, my name is Jasmine and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me again. This week's video I'd like to do the Amigurumi book tag. Counting all of my books, most of them actually are on PDF. For those of you who haven't watched my previous videos, I'm originally from South Africa. I've been in Aotearoa, New Zealand for the last 4 months, or over 4 months. We sent a few boxes with our personal belongings via a container, which went into storage about 3 months before we even left South Africa. So I do have books in those boxes, however they've not reached me yet. But we did get the notification that they are in New Zealand, which is fantastic. It's going to be so exciting. It's going to be like Christmas came late, because between my husband and I, we can't actually even remember most of what we packed in those boxes. So it's just going to be presents for us all around. From the books that I do have, I know that South Africa didn't have the best of routes when it came to receiving books and so on off Amazon. Majority of the crochet books that I bought were from amigurumi.com or from the buyer, the designer themselves, and it is mostly a PDF version. So doing the Amigurumi book tag, I have counted, I have 23 crochet books. 21 of them are Amigurumi, and I was quite surprised, because I mean 21 books of Amigurumi, that is quite impressive. What's scary is that I haven't even made something out of most of them. I've started reading them, I've picked patterns and put little pieces of paper in and little tags on some of the books that I want to store make things, but I have not got there yet. But does it stop me from buying more patterns? No, it does not. So, not so good, but we will get there. We will work through, we will slowly get there. So, the question for the book tag says, how many books do you have? So I have 21 Amigurumi books. How many books have you made something from? People, I've only made Amigurumi toys from 5 of those 21 books. Wow, that is bad. And the next question is, how would you rate the book must buy good, okay, fee? So out of all of the books that I have, my absolute favorite top book, and I recommend for anybody to buy yourself, whether it's the PDF or the hard copy. I enjoyed the PDF version so much that I actually bought myself the hard copy. Bearing in mind, to get it to me in South Africa, I bought it off Take-A-Lot, which is a nationwide online marketplace, if I can say that. It still took 14 working days and some to get the book to me, but it came with me in my suitcase, and that is Amigurumi Treasures by Irina Lee. It is my absolute favorite. Absolute favorite. Some of the things that I have made and still want to make, the biggest thing that I made, and it's the reason why I haven't made one of these little things again, it's this little lady here. And this is Daisy May the pig. So this little sweetheart, the sleeping pig. I am not lying. I believe I've made 12. I'm tired of Daisy May the sleeping pig. I don't believe I want to make her again. But that's how much I've made this pig. Because every time I'd make one and I'd post a photo, everybody loved her. She is beautiful. But I'm not going to make another one because I'm tired of now Daisy May the pig. But she is stunning. The first one I did in the same color scheme. I think my bow was slightly darker. I can't even show photos because when I got here 4 months ago, I had to reset my phone. And all my photos backed up to an email address that I've had for years. And mayhem. Just mayhem. Maybe one day I'll be able to save that. But not today. This little guy I made as my first Amigurumi coming to New Zealand, and that was Burberry the sheep. I love Burberry. Again, I do not believe I'll make him again, not because there's anything I hate about him. He came out beautiful. His hair. oh, 10 crochet hooks, then try and find, it's just, no. And then I still allowed my husband to gift it to his Secret Santa. The things we do for the men we love. Man, but he is in his new home. I love Burberry. Again, I don't believe I'll make him again. Another one that I made, although I didn't make this one per se. So I used this pattern for Lottie, the ladybug, but I made a bee. And it was actually my family that's in Auckland that asked me to make the bee for their Aunt Bee in South Africa. So the order was from New Zealand while I was still in South Africa, and I just posted it to the auntie from her nephew. So this one is special because I didn't actually make the ladybug, I made a bee, and it was for a very special auntie. Another one I made that was quite a big hit is this guy, Rex the dinosaur. Isn't he cute? I didn't make his glasses though because I couldn't get it right. But I didn't have the right tool. So that's also, if I want to make him again, fantastic. I love these books. Firstly, because it tells you normally by how many stars, or that gives you a little, relay of the pattern. What is so nice about these books, in my opinion, is that she shows you some of the basic stitches in pictures, which is very nice. But this over here, anybody who has a copy can have a look-see. So you see all of this. Obviously you won't see the writing on the screen, but what it basically is the accessory swap recommendation. So for instance, Rex has glasses, and she shows you in the grid what other toys in this book you can put the glasses on. Apologies. There's hats, there's scarves, there's flower bandanas. Apologies, my daughter and I were sick these last 2 weeks, so we are still recovering a little bit. If my voice comes and goes, wait for the plane to pass, then carry on talking. So if my voice comes and goes, apologies people. We're getting over whatever we had and we're moving on. So this is my #1 book. I have it in PDF and in hard copy. It came in my suitcase. I've got the Treasures #2. I have not made anything out of it. One thing that I'm going to push to make is this. It was actually one of the reasons I bought this book. And I've mentioned before, my mother's entire side of her family is Mauritian. And this little bird, the dodo, I think it's George the dodo. George the dodo. You can see, how cute is he? It's the bird from Mauritius. They're extinct now, but it was the original reason why I wanted this book. And it was to make one for my grandmother. I have not got there yet. But we are getting there, and I still love the book. I still love the patterns. Everything is very informative. She shows the stitches. There's lots of photos to give you an idea if you have to turn something around, especially with Daisy the pig. You'll have to turn the body around to crochet the skirt in the right way so it fans. So it's all these little details that I love. My second favorite is, I'm trying to think here, it's Amigurumi, the cuddly people. I'm sitting here now, I can't remember the name, but I will put the name in. I will tag in that book because it was a gift from Cassandra when she left South Africa for me. It was her farewell gift to me. I have made the owl, I've made the bunny with the rounded shoes, I've made the sheep that's in there. It is, again, a lovely book. And what I liked about it, it almost had like that soft feel, similar to this. There are lovely colors in it, but they're not those bright colors that you see in like the now with the Granny Crochet. Again, these names are just over my head while I'm sitting here. They're gone. The aquatic patterns. Does that make sense? Yes, the aquatic pattern book. Beautiful bright colors, but these are more toned down, more pastels, which I love. I personally love. So those are the two books that I think that I've favored over the years, this being my first. I have the second on my tablet. So beautiful. Another book that I would recommend people to buy, even though I have not made anything out of it, is the Pickapile books. So it's one of my friend Cassandra's favorite books. She bought it for herself, Pickapile 1, and we realized certain little things between mine and her crochet styles, which we never knew before, which we learned from the book. So there is I'm trying to find the word, I made notes for myself. There's the pencil grip and the knife grip. So my stitches look different to Cassandra, and we couldn't realize why. I was taught to crochet by my grandmother. I never read patterns for years. I only started reading patterns like in the last 5-6 years, if I'm not mistaken. No, 6-7 years. So Cassandra uses the knife version, okay, like many others, and she yarns over. I use the pencil grip. I yarn under. And we didn't know it. We only figured out the knife and the pencil grip when we saw the book. So when I crochet, this is how my movement goes. When she crochets, this is how her movement goes. Little things that we realized. So that was very, very nice to see that explanation, the pictures, the different steps, the different stitches. That's what's so nice about the different writers. So I have 1, 2, and 3 of Pickapile. I've got a whole list of patterns I want to make out of that book, especially that seagull and the crocodile. That crocodile from Pickapile 1. There's also the Big 5, which is obviously the South African animals or African animals, that is split between the books. It would make a lovely set. It would make a beautiful gift, the Big 5. But again, haven't got there. Maybe in the future we can look at it. I thought this is another one that came in my suitcase, which you've seen in previous. This is the Donut Buddies. These are beautiful. These are very quick to put together. They there's a whole variety, which is nice. So I love the books for the fact that if you're buying a pattern, you've got a pattern. When you've got the book, you've got a variety, because every now and again you're looking for something, or you're looking for a gift, and you've got your books to go to. So if I think of patterns to make, there's lots of patterns I want to make, and I'm not going to be able to say them all now because there's just too many. And apologies, I can't crochet quick enough to make all of these patterns in a lifetime. So if I can think of, there's one book in particular that I can think of that I would never recommend to anyone to buy. And thankfully I cannot remember the name of it, because unfortunately I would name and shame. It was a book that I bought on Take-A-Lot. It was for doll making. It was before Evelyn was born. I wanted to make her a beautiful doll, thinking it's my first doll. Ooh, it's a fly. It's summer here. It is hot. So wanted to make my first doll, and I wanted to gift it to Evelyn. And I bought this book, and when I got it, it was this tiny little book. The paper was brown. The photos were obviously black and white. And it wasn't cheap. It was not a cheap book. So whoever you are, I was not happy with your book. And I'm very glad I can't remember the name. But, yeah, moving on. I learned my lesson with that. And I also learned, like Cassandra says, you become a book snob to certain things. Like, this book caught my attention straight away. I saw them making earrings. Look at that. Earrings. How stunning. Look at the leaves. How awesome are those? Have I made something out of it? Nope. Not a chance. But it came in my suitcase because I thought I'm going to sit and I'm going to go through these patterns. I didn't even have the time. I started working the second month of being in New Zealand. If I go back to the Amigurumi book tag, there are so many things. There are so many new books that I've seen. I know that one of the biggest books that I'm still going to work in is The Iconic Woman. I know the second book is already coming out, and I'm still dying to make Jane Austen and Queen Elizabeth. I will have my turn, people. For crafts that I've done this week, again, I said I was a bit slow. Valentine's Day coming up, I made this little heart. It's the free pattern on Lily Hollis's blog. I don't think I pronounced that right. I'll take a link for that too. And I must just say, everything I'm going to show now is free patterns, because I was so shocked by the amount of books and patterns that I have that I bought and paid that I thought, no, I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to find free patterns. Valentine's Day coming up. My little Missy has her little sweetie bag. It's done with that beautiful fluff, that velvet thin wool, but I doubled it. There's her little heart bag. She can take it to school. This was a special gift, and I'm glad that I still got it here to show, even though I'm behind on his birthday. And this is for a fellow South African in New Zealand. It falls my notepad. And he has green fingers to the extreme. He started off with little bulbs of succulents, or we know them as fat plankies, fat plants, which is, yeah, that's a succulent. There's so many different families, but this is what he does. And I thought, what more fitting than to make him the one plant he doesn't have to water. How cute is that? I'm very chuffed. I got to hold it nicely because I misjudged the weight. And I bought this cute little bowl and everything. This is all free patterns that I joined into one, and I just extended the soil to fit in my little bowl that I bought, all fancy. And then I went and made it top heavy, and now I've got to hold it up with toothpicks because I don't have my glue gun here to glue it. So before it goes to its new home, it still has to be glued onto the bowl. But this is supposed to be the string of pearls, all the different little plants. I was very chuffed the way this came out, especially because I felt my way around the pattern. There were one or two things that I saw that I wanted to change, and I just changed it and went with it. And it's always nice when you can do these things, because then you start realizing that you're actually finding the passion in the project, which is amazing. Going to my sewing, I have started cutting out patterns, and now it's to cut the pattern onto the material. Next step. I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks because that's what I'm going to be focusing on. And yes, the weather has now changed a bit. Last week and the week before, we had Cyclone Hail that passed through New Zealand. There was quite a bit of damage, especially up Coromandel way, but we were all good. So this is why the sun is shining, the wind is blowing, flies are out. But sunshine, and whenever there's sunshine, we've got to be happy because that means it's not raining. Going through my notes for this week, I just wanted to make sure. So another thing that I found at Spotlight, it's called a value ball mold-in, and it's basically a bag. I have photos of them because I had to take it out the bag and feed it. Couldn't help myself there. And it is basically 400 grams in these bags, and they were going for like $7 or $8 of these bags, and it's all different type of yarn. Now you can see that the way they've rolled them and how it's presented, you can sort of see which brand it comes from, but you don't know for sure. So I thought I've got two beige, one like a lighter brown, and I want to learn how to do the corner to corner stitch. And maybe I should use that and do every row a beige or a brown and just go with it as my learning curve. Still need to start it, but it is my idea. And I thought, what better way to give it a little bit of character, that it's not all the same wool, because I'm learning. I don't even know what wool it is. I've never completed a corner to corner, and I thought I'd just make it a surprise blanket and surprise myself. So that's things to come. I see Cassandra's made this beautiful new little pattern on her blog. I will also tag those details. I cannot wait to make one. Wanted to make Buddy Bear 2.0. Now I don't know which one to start first. Must I do Buddy Bear or must I do those beautiful squishy things? I got a nephew and niece coming next year. There's so much excitement. I don't know what to make first. And I have to think about it carefully because it has to be a small gift. I've already got 2 cuddle blankets and other things. So it's no longer a small gift. But it's all exciting things to come. We cannot wait. And I'm enjoying my craft. So to everybody out there, if you want to talk, my email will be attached. Thank you for joining me. And I'm going to remember my saying and stay humble and hustle. Thank you, everybody.